Hello, beautiful artisans. Welcome to Echo Art with Carmella-T. I am really excited about today. I have a few different things to share with you today. And so if you're new to the channel, we create with all recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies. And it's our way to give the earth a little hug. And it's free to jump on board. Come on board, share your things, get inspired. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you are coming back, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for your emails. Thank you for your comments. And it really gives me a little gauge, a little guide on what it is that you like. And we know you like Boro Sashiko inspired projects. We know you like Kawandi and working with scrap fabrics. So with that, before we even begin, I want to share a couple of things with you. First of all, you know this is my favorite time of day. I mean, to have a cup of coffee with you, to just forget about the world, forget about everything except our art. So with that, I want to share with you my plant. As some of you have seen in one of the other videos, my plant, which is an orchid. But I named her Lily. Look, she has another bud. The beautiful bloom that she had not too long ago, that is gone, right? But here she is, and she has another bud. So we'll keep an eye on that. That shouldn't be too long. However, the sun definitely helps. And we have got some rain and cloudy weather lately. Now, the reason I'm showing you that, reminding you that that's Lily, is a friend of mine gifted me the other day with this box, and I'm going to share with you what's in it. And she put my name up here, and Carmella-T, and then she made a silhouette of a lily. This is a lily. And so I just love it. And so the necklace that I am wearing, this is a glass beaded necklace, indigo blue. Look at this necklace. So she gifted this necklace to me, and it goes absolutely gorgeous with this apron. She goes, I think you're going to really like that. It goes with the apron. So this is a lady that's on my YouTube channel. She creates outfits, you know, for the holidays, like for Halloween. She is on one of the shorts. You'll see her if you look up. She's got like over 2,000 views. But if you look at the outfit she made, it's gorgeous. And she uses all different things, you know, just things maybe you wouldn't even think of. She will incorporate into creating an outfit. She's a fashionista. And with that, she looks at me and she gets what would look good on me. She styles me. Like she didn't buy me, but she gave me this beautiful blouse. And I've worn it, a beautiful yellow, and it does. It looks really good on me, and it's comfy. So in this box was this necklace. And look, there's this necklace. She gifted these to me. Is that just gorgeous? And it's very light. And it's just, I'm going to put this on. You know, you can wear multiple necklaces and jewelry. People do that. They wear the multiple. So, you know, Iris Apfel, she was known for the big sunglasses, the big necklaces, the big bracelets, the big belts even. I mean, not going to say always loud colors, but a lot of them were like loud prints, loud design, gorgeous. Everything mixed together was just a beautiful. Much like our Boro Sashiko inspired, right? So, and in this box is this. This is a bracelet. Now, the reason you don't, this bracelet, look, it was a hair tie. So how creative is that? And there's just the little yeah, like bead of a flower. So you don't see me wearing the bracelets too. I love bracelets. I used to always wear a watch, but you don't see me wearing them a lot because I'm so much working with my hands and moving around, and I'm kind of like that. But I love that. Look at that. That's just adorable. And so this is another beautiful necklace. Look, this is glass. These are glass beads. Look at the sky blue and all the beads. And this is like faux leather. It's just a gorgeous. So that's another one she gave. Putting them all in. Feels good. You know, look, my mom used to say, she was a jewelry person. Like, she loved jewelry, especially from the thrift shop. She loved to just kind of look for different little items, this and that. And she was another Iris Apfel, a fashionista. And she did just such a beautiful job at coordinating all of her jewelry. But she used to say that it brings you energy. It gives you a creative energy around you and with you. And I believe it because I feel so much better with these on. So in here too, now look, this is a little, if you look at the back of it, it's a belt buckle. I believe it could be a brooch, like you could turn it, like I could turn, this is gorgeous. I could see me turning this into a pin. So that's what was in the box. And I just love these. So I'm going to leave these on. And thank you to my dear, dear friend, Gail. Thank you. And fashionista. So with that, I am going to move Lily, my plant, over here for a few minutes. And with that, what we're going to do today is what I'd like to do is share with you. I'm just going to move this. You're going to see kind of the screen there for a few minutes. But I want to share a little bit of what's in my book here on a quote that Helen Keller had written. Now, I may have shared this in one other video, but one of the artisans wrote to me and she's like, thank you so much for inspiring me. She goes, I actually converted from the way I made quilts, this and that. That's huge. When you get someone who has actually, especially quilting, because that's very precise. It's a very, anything like you get used to doing, it's kind of hard to change. But if you are inspired to change, that's huge. So with that, I just want to share with you a quote Helen Keller made. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched. They must be felt with the heart. Okay, by the way, YouTube, this is my book that I wrote, Recycle, Inspire, Create. So I can show the pictures in here. And it is Reviving Earth with Historical Cultural Arts by Carmella. I put my maiden name in there, DeSopo Sear. So anyway, with that, many of us learned about Helen Keller in school and at the movies. Her name and life story has become a great inspiration to many. I find this statement especially moving since Helen Keller could not see with her physical eyes. However, she could feel, touch, sense, and assimilate all information around her. With this, she was able to distinguish regular feelings of our earthly life from the intangible, inspiring feelings of the heart. She was able to experience it and actually put it into words so that we too may be inspired. For me, Helen Keller represents the miracles that may happen when we lean into and accept our inspirations. So, I feel today that the heart of, there's a lot going on in our world. Okay, let's face it, 2025, it's a little challenging to navigate. However, I really do believe, and especially our artists, that because maybe it's not working. Maybe it's more like leaning into, like I said, accepting your inspirations, like recognizing them, because you can be inspired by something, but there's so much going on that you just let it go, or maybe you don't process it or perceive it maybe as you would if life was just wonderful, right? So as an artist, what I do is I like to meditate and be what you might say in the moment. Because when you're in the moment, you're more able to accept. Life has navigations for all of us, up, down, around, maybe some perceived obstacles, this and that. Life can be challenging. So with that, when you think of someone like Helen Keller, who's saying, hey, pay attention to your heart. I mean, think about that. We know the life of Helen Keller. So to be appreciative, right, of what we do have, our health and our goodness, and I really do believe we are here to help each other. I believe that strongly, because being aware that not everyone has the skills, the resources, the mindset, the health, whatever it is, they may need help in some area of life. So with that, I find that inspirational. I find people inspirational. I find life inspirational. I find the valleys and the ups and the downs. I find it all inspirational because I embrace it. So, and I really do. I embrace it. Now, I feel that I wanted to share that because I am so moved by some people's stories, their life stories, and how they found art, how they continue to find their creativity, because it's there for you. It is your refuge. It is your gift. It is your blessing. And when you share it, right, it makes other people smile. So with that, yes, take a look into your heart. That's where, and whether you answer your inspirations or not, they're a part of you. And that's a blessing. So with that, what I want to do is share this idea that I was talking to you about in the last video. That, so I'm going to hold this up, and I got to move this. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is put this, so you're going to see me at a different angle. I'm going to put this down. We're going to have to put this down. Oh, maybe first what I should do is this. Let me put this back up, and let me just bring this for a moment. You're just seeing the table and part of the TV there. So let me just hold this up, okay? So to check this out, this is, and I actually did video on this when we made it a super long time ago. This is, I don't know if it's still up or if when I cleaned it out, I took it down. But this is a quilt. Now look at the back. And I did back to back on this. Here's the back. It's just all plain navy blue. But you can see here, I did back to back. I did metered corners. Did I do all metered? Yeah, I did all metered corners. So for the quilters out there, you understand pretty much how this was put together. Now I'm going to put this down, and now I am going to change the angle of this, and I'm going to go probably over on TikTok too with this, if any of you are interested. But let's put this down so we can actually see. So I'm at a different angle, but you can see a couple of blocks here. Okay, now let's see, let's change it around. This is better. Now you can see this better because that's what I want you to be able to see now. Is this quilt, at least those. Okay, so in the middle, I did little ties, okay? Now this quilt was made with all scrap fabrics. It was made in traditional manner. And it does not, for me, it does not hold my attention. However, when you have a quilt like this, something that you can do is you can apply your Boro Sashiko inspired techniques. Let's say you're a quilter and you want to do your traditional quilting, or you want to at least revisit it. You want to have it somewhere in your life because you like putting the blocks together, and there is so much you can do. And now, so I'm just going to reach over here and get some of the fabrics. Let's put this here so you can see. Okay. So you're like, well, Carmella, what are you talking about? Because you have just now put together a traditional quilt, and now you're going to go and put all these stitches in it. Now, with a quilt like this, you have your top layer, you have your batting, and you have your bottom layer. So you can, if you want, you can stitch in the top layer only. Now, I'm going to grab another one of my quilts. These I made a long time ago, and so let me just grab this. So I just want to show you. This one is, if you check this out, this is a little thicker. Okay, the wool, this is wool, okay? And so, and on the other side it's wool. You can sew right in the wool part, top part only, if you want. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. And some of you probably already know how to do it. This is another one, another quilt that I made. I got it folded. The plaid that you see there, that is wool. So the wool is a tad bit thicker, and it gives you a little bit more area in the top layer to sew in or do your stitches in. So now with that, what I'd like to do today is simply just going to start this and just show you a couple little things, because I want to show you, you know, with traditional quilting, you have your blocks, and they're usually measured. And, you know, you're sewing back to back, so there's no stitches showing. And let's say you want to mix it with Boro inspired. So you're probably saying, well, Carmella, what on earth are you going to call your, here, let me switch this back if I can. You're like, what on earth are you going to call your Boro inspired traditional quilt? So you can actually label it all of those if you wanted to. You could label it traditional quilt, or whatever kind of quilt you're doing. Excuse me. There are so many different patterns to quilts. There's hundreds of them, right? Thousands probably nowadays. Whatever kind of quilt you're doing, a Florentine quilt, a popsicle quilt, you know, whatever it is. And then you're adding your Boro Sashiko method. You can say that, you know, Florentine, Boro inspired mixed quilt, something like that. Like, just describe whatever it is that you have now done. So look, right here, I'm going to put this down again. I guess to see it a little bit better like that, I'll leave it like that. So I'll come over here. Okay. So if I put this piece down here, this piece, it's narrow on this side and it's wider on that side. It's a pretty big piece. So let's switch this back so you can see, look at that though. That's just sitting on the quilt. Okay, all I did was put it across 2 pieces. Now, it's kind of large, that piece. I wasn't really thinking that. But look, you can even mix it with okay, this is already purple here. And I was kind of thinking of brightening this one up because these are pretty colors, but they're kind of subdued. But look, so you can add a circle here if you wanted to. Look, this is another thing that you can do. Now, the reason I'm showing you these is I'm just trying to share a little bit more creativity with you. Look, this is a bird. You can take, if you have made your quilted bird, you can add that to your traditional quilted piece. Look. Okay, so that's already has a Boro Sashiko stitches in it. I'm just going to put that to the side. That's like an ornament. And this is a heart. So look, you can add the heart. Maybe you want to, I love hearts, right? So I'm always adding hearts to my piece. Like I could just, look, you could just have hearts all through this. And you don't have to make the heart first. This is made first, and it's a quilted heart. But you see the batten on the back, and it's machine stitched. So it can be whichever way you want. But when you stitch it, hand stitch it with visible stitching here onto the quilt, so now you are creating a Boro Sashiko inspired piece. So there's that. So I'm going to take some smaller pieces here, because that's kind of what I was thinking. And I just want to show you as we're looking at Boro. Okay, so there's a buffalo plaid right there. And I'm going to move this back a little. Okay, and I'm going to show you in a moment. We'll put some stitches there. And some of these let's see. I wanted to get my scissors here, which kind of are hiding. Here we go. So I'm kind of cutting out some pieces here. And I was kind of like thinking all different sizes really. So look, this one we can put right like that. It's a little crooked there. We can either make it, we can either cut that or just even cover it. We can cut it or cover it. I mean, that's staying with the theme of kind of trying to save our scraps, use our scraps. Now, on the other side of this quilt over here, we have some lighter colors. So this is a little bit lighter green. So this purple, instead of this purple heart going over here, okay, this would show up much better here. And that would be just simply a lovely, look at that. I mean, so there's so much that we really could do here. Now, you can also, so there's a couple ways that you could approach this. You could work with one block at a time, and you could have a whole theme going, whether it's hearts, trees, flowers, houses. Look, I'm going to do one of a house. Okay, let's do that right now. Now I'm going to take some yellow because look, it is so bright. It would totally brighten this up. Now, if I took, let's say I took every other block and I put a house in it. And what kind of house is it going to be? It's going to be one of those wonky houses that we did when we did our little village. Okay. Oh, look how that came out. It just kind of came out a little non-traditional. I'm just going to put that there for a moment. Look how it brightens up the purple. Okay. Now, look, I want a contrasting, well, maybe this. Look, I have this. Look, this is a Boro Sashiko inspired piece, machine stitch. People are saying, well, Carmella, is it really Boro inspired if you're machine stitching? And why would you say that? Actually, I put this question in my book. So the reason I consider it Boro inspired is even though you're using machine stitches, you are using the method and the idea of your scraps and building with them. So let me just do this. Look how adorable that is with kind of the little wonky roof. Now, I could change that roof because I'm not especially crazy about it, but I love this as the little part of the house. And what I could do is just cut. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am not, as you know, any of you who've been watching me a while, you know I'm not one for an exact measure. The reason is I really believe this is life is not exact. Life is not perfect. And I really believe a signature that any artist adopts where they kind of let the measure or the whatever it is they're working with to be a little bit off because that's the way it naturally fell. I love that. I love that. So anyway, look, we could put a door there. That's kind of a big door. Or we could just leave it. I think I'd just leave it. And let's work on the roof just a little bit. So if we put the roof like that, of course it's flat and that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold that and I'm just going to go down on an angle and just so I get a little roof. Okay. So that's kind of giving me a little roof and I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. Let me just, there we go. I just want to emphasize that. That's adorable. Okay, and now we can even put our little bees for a chimney over here. We can leave it on the outside. We can tuck it underneath. So look, that is a house. Look at that. That's adorable. So now you're like, well, Carmella, okay, it is a house, but how are you going to do your Sashiko stitching without having the stitches go through? So there's a couple things. You can have the stitches go through if you want them to go through. So anyway, we just built a little concrete image. So let me just pin it for a moment because I want to go to the next block before we sew that. And we will sew that in a moment. And I'll show you just, how to stay in your top part there. It's super duper simple. And look at those pins around. So I'm going to move this over because what we want to do here, this is the next block, you see. What I want to do here is a little bit traditional, a little bit more traditional Boro Sashiko building. So let's do that for a moment because we did start that. And so I'm just going to cut this down just a tad. And this is the beautiful blue. I just love this design. This is lovely. So I'm just going to put it right smack in the middle. Look how adorable that is. That's really pretty. It pops. It does pop. I put it right in the middle. And you can really, any scraps you have around, you're going to see how beautifully this works. So, okay, with that, and I want a little bit brighter color. And look, I have these little circles we were using for our yo-yos, our fabric yo-yos we were making. But let's see. I think what I want is this one. This is super pretty. I love that. It's bright, and that's kind of what I'm looking for right now, is something that's bright to brighten this up. And you notice I'm ripping it, and that's fine. And people who are new to Boro Sashiko inspired projects are like, well, Carmella, why do you not fold your edges? So I do not fold the edges. And all of the years that I've been doing this, it's not necessary. Once you do your stitching, it is totally adequate to keep your edges cohesive. And if you're really worried about it, you can do the cohesive fabric sprays. This one's a little bit larger than I wanted, so I'm just going to cut that, and because I really want that kind of in the center a little. Look, when you do, so I'm going to share this with you because this is my experience. When you do something like this, if the pieces are a little bit smaller and they can fit within that larger piece rather than, you can certainly overlap them too. But when they're smaller and they fit in and you're overlapping multiples of them, it's dynamite. The design is dynamite. And I think it's because it just gives the opportunity for more of the colors and the patterns to kind of pop. That's kind of what's happening. So I'm just going to pull my chair up. There we go. Okay, so put this here. So you see that it gives the opportunity for all of those fabrics to show. Now, so then you add another smaller piece. This is another smaller piece. So this is beautiful. This particular piece has really tiny little flowers in it. And so I'm going to switch this back. Okay. And I want to kind of bring attention now to this and the blue. So I'm kind of directing, you see, you're not directing, but you're kind of able to really enjoy a number of the designs, the hues, the vibrance of these colors. Now, I could also, instead of centering it, if I didn't want to do block to block and I kind of want to be sporadic, I can bring that right over. Look how beautiful that is with now it's partially on the red and partially on the purple. So look at that. That's really beautiful. So, but it does look lovely over here. And, you know, you can take your scraps and you can make them, yes, into different forms. You know, maybe you make another house or kind of abstract kind of a house. And, you know, it's kind of on an angle. And it gives, maybe it gives an illusion of a little house, something like that, or whatever you want. But, okay, so with this, I'm going to take this particular piece and I'm just going to kind of overlap that like that and bring this one over like that. And then, and what we're going to do is sew. We're going to sew this. So right here, now you put a knot in, you can, this knot actually is too big for what I'm about to show you. So I really do need to take that. I'm going to put a little knot because what I want to do, and a lot of you sewists will already know this, is I'm going to pull this little knot through one stitch. So this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm just simply going to, because I just simply want to get this through. See that? I want to pull it up through, and I don't want to go, make sure I didn't go through there. Yeah, I'm staying in the top layer, and you're going to see, I'm trying to do this without moving the camera and everything on you. So, and I guess what I could do is pin those down. But what I'm going to do is pull that knot through so it hides. Now I could do it that way, or I could have just simply started underneath a piece of fabric. So you can do it that way too. Some people think this might be a little more secure. I don't know, but I'm going to turn it and get that knot pulled through gently. Should go through. You pull the fabric a little bit. There we go. Okay, and you got the tail sticking up there, so you can either trim it, or you can leave it. Because if you leave it, chances are you're going to be stitching over it anyway. So I'm just going to take a couple pins here because I do want to secure this. And I'm going to show you just how super simple this is. You're staying in your top layer. So you want to get a little oriented to your top layer. Get oriented to it. Kind of lift that a little bit and figure out where it's at, okay? So you get an idea of the feel of it. And once, and I mean, that's how I do it. I don't go to any great lengths trying to hold it up, trying to figure it out. I just get an idea of the feel of it. Excuse me. And then I just stay in the top layer. So what you're doing is just starting with simple running stitches. These are your simple running stitches in your Sashiko visible stitching. Okay, and then what we're going to do, because we want to see, did we really stay in the top layer? So yes, we did. This is a pin. That's a pin right there. That's a pin. So we're right here is where we are, right here. And we did. We stayed in our top layer. So, and the stitches are nice and small, so that's good. And then we're just going to do a couple more. We're just going to do, like, you can feel the top layer very easily. I mean, now the thicker your fabric is, the easier it is to just do your running stitches also. So now the other thing you can do for quilters are probably saying this like right now. They're like, well, Carmella, you know, I could have just quilted the top piece, my squares to back, put them together, and then use that as a base and go in and do my Boro Sashiko designs. And you could. But if you have a quilt that is already complete and you're a quilter, and you want to go back and you want to do a little upcycling, you want to do something a little different, you want to use some different scraps, this is a really good way to do it. So now you see here, we are staying in our top layer. So I just wanted to share that with you. I just wanted to share the little bit of layout, the little bit of creativity and mixing the two methods, and share that with you. So now, before we go, I also wanted to share something with you, and I'm going to put this back here like that. Okay, so I wanted to share in my book the Kawandi piece. Okay, so this piece, if you look at it, you see it's a circle. You see the stitches. So this piece, I went in, I had done the many pieces of it Kawandi style, laying them in a Kawandi style, and I talked to you in here about it. I tell you this, that this is a mandala meditation piece. That's why I started it. And it's a Kawandi inspired and Boro inspired. The theme inspired by chakra meditation and love for mandalas, visible stitching, free form, all scrap fabric, cottons, vintage, and blends. So with this project, I had laid out all the pieces. Now there were a few that I wanted to add like after the fact. And that's kind of where I'm coming from with this, is like you have a finished piece, you're trying to figure out how to get it on there and to stitch it on with your Sashiko stitching. There were only a few that I did here like that, but I was able to stay in my top layer. So, but the majority of this was done by Kwandi, and I explained that this particular project was highly inspirational, as I was always looking for a way to have the chakra colors for meditation in front of me. This is how I began to gather scrap pieces. Initially, I had difficulty with my energy laying them in a circle because I was trying to lay these scrap pieces in a circle, and I kid you not, even when you lay them in a circle with the idea that you're going to trim the edges and you're going to make a perfect circle, there is a problem. I don't know why, but this is what happened. So I had great difficulty with my energy in laying them in a circle until I turned to the method of Kawandi of the city women of India. Then I started laying down the fabrics with the Kawandi method of overlapping in rounds from the outer edge to the center. I got to tell you, and I say here, then the energy started to flow. I knew this was right. Next, I worked on the base fabric, which is underneath the mandala, using and inspired by the Boro method of design and Sashiko stitching. The base and the backing are back-to-back hem. So the reason, so you're saying, well, Carmella, what are you bringing this up for? What's going on? The reason I'm bringing it up is energy. Energy. This piece I will never forget because I spent literally revisiting it. I want to say it had to be at least 2 days. It may have been 3. I did not feel right about how these fabrics were being applied, the way I was putting them down. It just wasn't working. The second I applied Kawandi way with the overlapping from the outer edge into the center, and it doesn't matter the size, because if you look at this, let's see which one, if you can see it right here, if you can notice this piece, this lighter piece, this is a very large piece. It goes right almost to the center of the mandala, but the method still works because you're going around in a methodical, a circle, or, you know, square or rectangle, whichever way you're doing it. So I mention that because, again, it's the heart of the project, the energy. And you know when it's not flowing, you know when it's not right, and you know when it is right. So with that, I just wanted to share with you today this beginning of this traditional quilt, mixing our Boro Sashiko methods, and I'm going to come back around. Now, I don't know if I'm going to leave those few stitches I did demo on there with you for this quilt, or if I'm going to come back around and do houses and birds or something like that. I'm not sure, but I will be back and I'll have a little bit more done, and then I'll share with you what that is. I definitely think the houses, like every other square on this block, that I will do, and then adhere them with Sashiko stitching. So with that, I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful day. You bring love and light into my world, and I thank you. And with that, I will see you in the next video.